any stationary position, or literally anything you do in dog training, really, you want to work on what we call the 3Ds. So distance, duration, distraction. So let's just take into example teaching dog to go to the bed and stay there. Yeah. So first and foremost, let's talk about duration. There's no point only having the dog stay on there for 30 seconds. You want to be able to build it up to at least 15 minutes. Now, the reason why I say 15 minutes is because once you get to that, you generally don't have an issue with half an hour, everything else. By that stage, you've hit 15 minutes, most dogs will generally self-settle and relax. So that's your duration part. The next part's distraction. So you want to be able to, and the way I always look at it, in training, they say it's no different with preparing for a fight. You always want your training to be harder than reality, because so many people, training is easier than real life. That's when they then run into issues. So let's just talk about the distraction component. All righty. Let's say you need to be able to prepare your dog for, the doorbell ringing, people walking through the front door, hellos, all this excitement, people bringing you food. If your training doesn't replicate this or is harder than this, you're really going to struggle. So you want to be able to make sure, well, can your dog stay on the bed as you're vacuuming, as you drop food, as you kick a soccer ball around, whatever it might be, as you do star jumps, as you do push-ups, as just do some crazy stuff. Yeah. Completely out of ordinary. As you ring doorbells, as you throw tennis balls past them, this is really your distraction part of it. Yeah. Then your distance part here can also come into two parts as well. So how far away can you be with your dog when you send them to that object, but also how far away can you be with your dog staying on the object? So, for example, you want to be able to be at the front door, your bed's near the kitchen, and be able to send your dog to the object, but also have your dog reliably stay there whilst you are, 10 meters, which is 33 feet away from them.
Yeah, and I like that you broke the distance up into those two components, because I think a lot of pet owners do get confused about that distance part, because of course there is the distance of, can you go finish cooking your dinner while your dog remains on the place, even though your kitchen is a room away? But also, if you're already cooking dinner and your dog's at your feet, can you send your dog away from you? Can you get your dog to navigate all the way over to that place? So that's huge. And those are all separate training sessions, right? So that's going
Exactly.
to take, yeah. And I like the distraction component. You make it sound very interesting, which is important as well.
Yeah, it has to be like novel, like just really random. But one thing I did want to touch on, I just remembered as well, because we spoke about release commands before. So we're not staying on there until you release them. And one issue I find with a lot of pet parents or dog owners in general is not understanding arousal levels and classical conditioning. So what I mean by that is, so many people, they have a release command that can lead to excitement, so to speak. So they'll like break and the dog can go off and chase a tennis ball or bite a toy or chase food. And I guess when we're trying to teach calm exercises, like go to your bed, when you tell your dog free off the bed, you don't want the dog jumping out like a bull in a china shop. So many people, they condition their release commands to be explosive. Like the dog's going to sit, free, boom, you can go off and chase a tennis ball. So it all depends on the owners, but I do recommend, if you have conditioned your release command to have excitement around it, to teach its separate release commands. So I generally like the word finish. So for some people, so finish for the dog has a really calm annotation to it. It's like sit, all right, finish. There's no expectation after the release.
That makes a lot of sense. And when you begin training this, do you usually recommend using food, toys? Probably not toys, because we talked about that
Yeah,
excitement level a little bit. So what does it look like when you first start training this?
yeah, good question. So yeah, we always recommend using a leash and food initially as well. Going back to the whole food thing, we're really big on the dogs working for their daily food intake. So instead of just putting your puppy's food, your dog's food all in a bowl, splitting this up into training sessions. So the reason why we use a leash is to just help guide the dog, but also prevent mistakes from learning.